Hi there and welcome back to Japan, and of course specifically welcome back to our top 5 picks in our top 10 baby metal songs of all time list. And of course, if you're wondering, numbers 10 till 6 were in a previous video. The description has a little link you can click on to check them out if you haven't already. But yeah, we'll be moving on with our top 5 here, and of course this is top 10 songs of all time from the first 2 albums, because we're looking forward to October when Metal Galaxy comes out. Hopefully it'll be in October, as they say, and then of course we'll be catching up on that album when it does. Now, just little last specific to add here. Like I say, I hope you guys have seen the previous video, but just in case you haven't, we've obviously been catching up on all of the baby metal songs, and I've now listened to every single baby metal song on this channel, basically by following the suggestions that you guys have given us. And this is a band who really, before January, I had very little knowledge of at all, but I've therefore built up what I call a bit of an objective, subjective list, and I've gone through this in so much detail, listening to every single song, putting them on my playlist, making a little chart, giving them points for all various things. This is a system that I came up with when I was working doing reviews for a magazine years ago, and I'm pretty happy with my top 5. I know that number 10 to 6 was a bit of a difficult one, but I'm pretty happy with my top 5. I think there might be some contentious entries on here though, so anyway, without further ado, let's move on to number 5. I'm pretty sure that no one's going to be surprised to know that Road to Resistance is in this top 10 list, but I think the reasons why are pretty clear. I'll go over them anyway. It's mainly the fact that it's got this big dramatic feel. It's a sing-along song, but it also is one that really connects with people. Now, as you guys know, usually my favoritism is given for, how well a song is delivered, and therefore the album version. And, the live atmosphere is something that I wouldn't usually score particularly when it comes to these kinds of lists. When it comes to Road to Resistance, it is one of those songs where it's just clearly written for a live version. It's something where that whole drama, that whole feeling of getting everyone involved in the crowd is kind of central to what it is. And, not at the lack of it being a good song as well. It is one of those songs where if you listen to the album version, you can go, yeah, this is pretty awesome, and enjoy it. So it's a song that has 2 sides to it, but overall, it kind of had to come at this point in the list for my own personal rating. But let's see what comes above it. This is number 4. Now, Akatsuki, this is a song that for quite a while was going to be my number 1 or number 2, or really right at the top, and so even I'm quite surprised to see it this low on my list, but it's still at number 4. Now, the reasons why it's this high, they're pretty obvious. It's a fantastic song. I think most people who've been commenting when I've been talking about a baby metal top 10, they've all mentioned that this would be in their top 10 from what I've seen. And it has got a fantastically strong melody. It's a song that just really punches through. It's recognizable instantaneously, and yet it doesn't start off heavy. It becomes heavy. It's got a progression in it. It goes from quiet to loud, and every little bit of impact it has is built up to. You get a real feeling that when you hear those loud bits, that they've been earned, rather than some songs that come in straight away heavy, 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 and maybe don't actually have the impact that this seemingly softer song does actually have in the final analysis. It's a very emotional song. It's got a lot of emotional power as well, which is a great plus. It's just one of those songs where it's kind of hard not to see the quality. It would be very hard to, even if you're not a big fan of this kind of music, it'd be hard not to listen to this and go, you know what, that's pretty impressive. For me, like I say, it's an emotional, impactful, well-written and well-arranged song, and I'm surprised it's only at number 4. But hey, let's see what comes above this in my list. Here's number 3. Okay, so I'm going to talk you into the top 3 songs, and specifically this one is probably going to be the most contentious of all of them. Now, this song I don't think has appeared on many of the top 10 lists I've seen from other people. I think I only saw one other person mention this, and it's one that I don't think is going to sit particularly well with a lot of the more metal fans of Baby Metal. You can see where this is going, can't you? Anyway, this is a song that, to me, I just think is incredibly, incredibly catchy. And as you guys know, if you've been following the channel, obviously I like and I listen to a lot of heavier music, but I also listen to a lot of poppier music, and so both have kind of an equal value to me. And this is the only really full-on pop song that I can think of by Baby Metal, despite it having some metal elements to it. Anyway, I'll talk more after you've seen it, but contentiously, I'm going to get a lot of people pressing thumbs down around about now. Number 3 is... Okay, so Doki Doki Morning. I know a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads right now and thinking of all the songs that I've put below this. Well, all I can really say is that this is one of those songs where maybe, like I say, for a metal fan, it might not be so appealing, but if you're not naturally a metal fan, and admittedly, if you're maybe not the sort of person who would usually listen to Baby Metal, this is the sort of song that's going to really, really bring you in. And the reason for that is it has all of the qualities that a pop song would have. The vocal interplay is fantastic, there's a lot of little rhythmic gadgets in there, the production's really well done, and the metal elements are there, but they're used sparingly. They have impact when they do occur, and you know, they have that sort of ability to make a pop fan who's listening to this go, okay, I wouldn't usually listen to that, but actually that's kind of, in this context, I like it. So for someone like me, I find it perfectly bridges the gap between two things I really like, and isn't that really what Baby Metal's all about? The mixture of pop and metal. I think to say they're just a metal group would be kind of a weird thing to do, because let's face it, we've got a lot of just metal groups already, and Baby Metal stand out for a reason. So for me, I can understand why this might be one that a lot of people wouldn't agree with, but I do really think this song has a lot of quality, and I think it would be a very bad decision to underestimate it just because it's a bit poppy and because it has that dance. I can't do that dance. Anyway, let's move on to number 2 now. So, song number 2 on the list. I think this is one that a lot of people, if they've been watching this channel, are not going to be too surprised to find that I really like. But I think that this is just, it's one of those songs, it's going to bowl you over. It's amazing that this one didn't end up on number 1 on my list. But there isn't really much more I can say about this except for either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to love it. Number 2. So, Tales of the Destinies. Is anyone surprised I picked this? I hope not, because this song is just amazing. I mean, if you have any interest in songwriting, you're going to be bowled over by this. Even if you're not so much into this kind of experimental style of music, you've surely got to be able to see just how incredible it is. And Baby Metal had already won the approval of so many metal fans. They didn't have to do this. If anything, this was a bit of a creative risk going into such a niche territory, such a hard to access territory of music, but they did it anyway. And look, I know that Baby Metal themselves, the 3 girls, as they were at the time, they didn't write this song, I know that, but isn't it amazing to see a subunit, effectively, of a Japanese schoolgirl idol group doing something which is in the realms of Dream Theater and Cardiacs, something which is just like a homage to people who are real hardcore musos. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and the fact that it's got the approval of lots of people, I think it was one of the members of Dream Theater actually called out how great this song is. I'm not surprised. It doesn't sound fake, it doesn't sound like it's just trying to do something. It actually achieves being that sort of prog metal song. it 100% works. The girls pull it off fantastically, and it's just such a rewarding listen. It's something that you could listen to time and time again, and it probably is never going to get old just because there's so much packed into it, and that's exactly what you want from this type of music. Anyway, time to move on to number 1. So, the number 1 pick, the greatest song by BABYMETAL to date, in my opinion, and based on a lot of thinking and a lot of scientific scoring, working out. It's just such a big challenge to come up with a best song. And yet this one, surprisingly, I'm quite sure of it. I don't feel any doubt when I say that this is my number 1 choice. Now, I know there's so many songs that you guys were probably thinking you wanted to see on the top 10. At this point, there's probably a bunch of songs bouncing around in your head where you're thinking, well, if this is not the number 1, then it's not on the top 10 at all. So I'm going to be really looking forward to, after this video, we're going to have the live stream chat, and I'm going to discuss this, including some of the songs that were not on this list, because I'm sure you guys can name lots of songs that you're really shocked were not on the top 10 at all. So we're going to be doing that straight after this video, so I hope you can join me for that. But before we get to that, it's time to see what I picked as number 1. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but all I can really say is that, in my opinion, this song is not just the best BABYMETAL song. It's one of the best metal songs I've ever heard. It's truly a feat of writing. I mean, for it to go above Tales of the Destinies is kind of amazing enough as it is. To think this song, to me, is better than that is quite amazing. But this is a song that not only blows me away and impresses me, but I've been listening to it really regularly. I've been listening to it over and over again. Every time I put on this playlist to review BABYMETAL, it's just that one song where every time I come round to it, I can't just listen to it at once. I have to listen to it 2 or 3 times. It's an absolute joy of a song. I'm so glad I've heard it, and I'm so glad that I get to present this to you as the best BABYMETAL song on our list of all time. So, number 1 is... Yava. A simply amazing song. I'm sure some of you guys, having seen my initial reaction to it, are probably not going to be overly surprised that I put this song at number 1, but the things that this song achieved are truly amazing, and what makes it even better is it sounds so smooth and so simple on the surface that to a normal casual listener you'd probably just think it's kind of an average, extremely catchy song. But when you really think about it, look at all the things that are happening in this song. From a writing standpoint, it's so impressive that you have elements of ska, you have elements of metal, well obviously, you have elements of pop, and you even have little EDM styles coming in and out of it. And that's just to name 4 things that fuse perfectly together so seamlessly that you almost don't feel like there's any changes happening. Even when they're really big changes, like when you listen to the recorded version, it skips in and out of things quite heavily compared to the live version where they try and smooth out the overall sound. But even then, every change that happens is never jarring in a bad way. It's always just like a good surprise. It's always like, brilliant. That was just such a clever bit. And so yeah, from a writing perspective it's amazing, but also from a listening perspective, I really do believe this is one of those songs, like I say, that you could just listen to as a casual listener and really just think, that's really catchy without being sort of alienated by all the things that are happening. It's full of charm, it's full of great performances, it's got that really, really catchy hook in it, and I just can't say enough that to me, this is one of the best metal songs I've ever heard. I think that often the best thing that you can do with metal, considering it's a genre all about turning it up to 11, the best thing you can do with metal, in my opinion, is mess with the formula, fuse other things with it. It's a brilliant way to convey energy, but when you put other things in there, you give it more variation and you make those energetic loud bits stand out more when they do come in. And in this song, it's got those cheeky verses, it's got the emotional sort of impact of the chorus, it's got everything you could ever ask for all in one, and with absolutely no sense that there was any difficulty putting it together. It just sounds effortless, and I guess that's really the word for it, is effortlessly brilliant. So this is a song that, in my opinion, stands clearly and easily at number one of what is admittedly a very high quality list. When we started doing these Baby Metal reviews, I had no idea that the songs we were going to listen to were for the best part as good as they were. Yeah, there's been songs I've preferred, there's been songs I've liked less, but overall the standard has been so high. And like I say, to be able to finish this list by talking about at least 2 songs, definitely this number one being amongst the best metal songs, or even the best hard rock, just the best loud songs I've ever heard, is a real pleasure. So I think that we can all kind of say that whatever your picks, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your picks, seeing what your top 10 lists are as well, whatever those picks are, it's one of those things where you've just got to be able to look at it and say, what a fantastic body of material they have, how unique they are as a group, the fact that they can pull these songs out of the bag, which, let's face it, if you gave these songs to a lot of other metal bands, they would kind of be scared to touch them because they'd be thinking, is this metal enough? Are people going to be saying, you're not metal? Let's face it, that's the sort of thing that does worry a lot of metal bands. So Baby Metal have this kind of carte blanche to, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, to do whatever they want, and within reason, and they've used it well. They've used it to produce a really, really, really wonderful body of work that they should be proud of. But in my opinion, Yava sits at number one as the best thing they've ever produced. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, but don't run away yet. Like I say, I'm sure you've got a lot of questions, a lot of songs that you think should be in here. I'm going to show you guys the entire list in the live stream coming up right after this video, so jump in, get involved, start messaging away with us. I'll talk you through the list and we can talk about why some of your favourite songs probably didn't appear in this top 10 list at all. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of down, thumbs down things on this video. But seriously, thank you so much, like I say, for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying these, and this is not the end of our Baby Metal journey. We've got some lovely, rare, interesting Baby Metal performances, videos, covers and things that we'll be checking out between now and in October when Metal Galaxy comes out, and we'll be able to jump on reviewing that as well. So for now, from Japan, thank you so much, and I would say ciao ciao, but you can join us in the live chat, but just in case you don't, ciao ciao.